Starting today, I'm the wife of the president.
Then my younger sister hugged my husband's arm.
Oh, po big sis. I wonder who would ever want an old, divorced hag like you. Your life is over. Plain women like you just can't compete with young, cute girls like me. Life is cruel, isn't it?
My sister had an affair with my husband, who is the president of the company. When I gave my pledge for alimony, she said, my new husband will pay. She signed it without hesitation. Ah, my silly sister. I purposefully placed my hand on my chin and said to her, but paying such a high amount of damages is going to be tough. Will it be okay? Your man will be unemployed from tomorrow.
Ke?
My name is Emily Johnson, a housewife working in the apparel industry. I and my husband, Tom, were university classmates and were in the same management department. My first impression of Tom was that he is just a scary man. The fact that he had stayed in school twice gave him a somewhat older feel. Moreover, he had a stern face and was taciturn. Because of this, it was doubtful that he had a friend, let alone a girlfriend. At first, I had no particular involvement with him, but by chance, we ended up in the same seminar. Upon talking to him there, I found out that he was surprisingly good-natured and talkative. From that point on, he became friendly with the other seminar students, and he and I became especially close, eventually leading to a relationship. Now, we have been married for 5 years, and we even work together. One day, we were attending a cousin's wedding. She was like a sister I had been close to since childhood, and when Tom and I got married, we told her right after our parents. The ceremony was very bright, luxurious, and moving. However, there was one thing that bothered me at that venue. It was the presence of my sister, Catherine. It's my cousin's wedding, so it's not strange or acceptable for my younger sister to be there. But Catherine and I do not get on well. Rather, I had been unilaterally harassed by Catherine, which was traumatic for me. Catherine is only 1 year younger than me, but as the youngest, she has been spoiled by our parents and grandparents since she was a child. On top of that, she has a beautiful face and has always been popular with boys. However, I was the one who got a boyfriend first. For Catherine, it was unforgivable that I, who was not so good-looking, had a boyfriend before her. And so, Catherine stole my boyfriend. Boys of that age can easily be swayed if a cute girl approaches them. Looking back now, I can understand that, but having it done by my sister hurt quite a bit. Moreover, the harassment wasn't just once. It seemed that Catherine enjoyed tearing me and my boyfriends apart, and whenever I had a new boyfriend, she would steal him or spread false rumors, using every means possible to break us up. If such things continued, it was only natural that I would stop telling Catherine about any close male friends. Therefore, I never directly introduced Tom to her, and I didn't invite Catherine to our wedding. My cousin didn't know about this, but luckily, Catherine and I were not seated close to each other. I made up my mind to go home and not interact with Catherine after this ceremony. But after the ceremony, she approached me.
Long time no see, sis. It was really a great wedding today, wasn't it?
Yes, it was really nice. As always, Catherine spoke to me with a smile that seemed to look down on others. I wanted to get away from this place as quickly as possible. If I kept listening to her, nothing good would come of it.
Speaking of weddings, why didn't you invite me to yours? You haven't even introduced me to your husband. I heard from a friend that he's the president.
Who told her such unnecessary information? Catherine glanced at Tom, who was waiting a short distance away, and smirked. She's at it again without learning her lesson. I don't want to go through the same thing as before ever again. I glared at Catherine and hardened my voice. That's right. Tom is the president of my company. And if you try to interfere in any way, I will never forgive you. Catherine returned my words with a smirk, saying, "Oh, you are scary."
I know that taking away every important person from you was a foolish act of youth. I'm truly sorry. Now I'm an adult too. I sincerely wish for your happiness, sis.
Saying so, Catherine approached Tom to greet him lightly and then left the venue. A few months later, while I was looking at my computer at work, my colleague Ellie, who had just returned from an outing, called out to me.
Hey, I have something to talk about. Is now a good time?
The seriousness of her face made me uneasy. Had there been a problem with a client or customer as soon as she got back to the office? I took a deep breath to stay calm, no matter what she was going to say, and asked, what happened?
I want you to be prepared. Look at this.
Saying so, Ellie showed me something on her smartphone. The picture displayed was of a man and a woman walking arm in arm, looking quite friendly. It was Tom and Catherine. I had been expecting it to be a work-related matter, so the shock of the photo was tremendous. Memories of the past came flooding back. I can't stop breaking into a cold sweat. I feel like I'm going to throw up.
I know this is really sudden and confusing, but I saw it by chance, and I couldn't just keep quiet about it.
Ellie, perhaps worried about how pale I looked, gently pats my back and says, "Sorry, are you okay?" I muster up a smile and reply, "I'm fine."
So, what are you going to do about Tom? You can't just let it go on like this, right?
After some thought, I tell Ellie, "Can you leave it with me for now? I have something in mind." One of the reasons I married Tom was because I thought there was a low chance of him cheating. He's never been popular with women due to his stern looks, and although he's now the boss, we worked together. I thought there was no room for him to cheat. I really want to confront Tom right now. But the only evidence is the photo Ellie showed me. Besides, there's a good chance that Catherine is deliberately tempting him again. In any case, I decide to have Tom and Catherine investigated by a detective. A few days later, the detective handed me photos of Tom and Catherine entering and exiting a love hotel and even, shockingly, getting intimate in the company car. I feel as though I've been betrayed by Tom all over again. I decided to gather evidence myself, and at one opportunity, I looked at Tom's smartphone. There, I found messages that definitively proved his infidelity with Catherine. But the approach always comes from Catherine. In other words, just as before, Catherine successfully seduced and groped Tom. This was a bit different from ordinary cheating. No matter how I looked at it, Catherine was the one at fault. I reassured myself with this thought, and planned to subtly confirm with Tom if he was cheating, and if he apologized sincerely, I would give him a stern warning and forgive him. That night, while having dinner with Tom, I began the conversation as if talking about something on TV. Recently, there's been a lot of news about celebrity affairs, hasn't there? I wonder why people cheat so easily?
Who knows? Maybe the entertainment world is full of attractive people that catch your eye? I don't really know, though.
For now, there's nothing particularly suspicious about Tom's response or behavior. Maybe I should probe a little deeper. Tom, you've been coming home late sometimes recently, but you're not cheating on me, are you? The moment I said that, Tom's chopsticks paused for an instant, and he exclaimed, "Huh?" But then he quickly resumed eating. He swallowed his food and replied to me,
You know better than anyone that I'm not popular because of this face, don't you? And the reason I've been late recently is because I've been taking employees out for drinks. Or have been invited to dinner by clients. Perhaps, being a man, I get approached more casually than you ladies.
That's not a real answer. He's saying something that sounds plausible, but neither confirms nor denies anything. I subtly asked a few more times, but towards the end, Tom started to snap back.
Enough already! What is this all about? Even if I were cheating, I'm working hard as the president, so forgive me once or twice.
Humph. So that's the attitude he's going to take. Well, I don't care anymore. A few days later, I had called Catherine to a cafe. As I sat and waited, Catherine entered the store, and as soon as she saw me, she directed an annoying smile my way.
Sorry to keep you waiting. How have you been?
She's as irritating as ever. I know I called you here, but I don't plan on wasting time with idle chatter. Can you sign this? Saying that, I pulled a written agreement out of my bag. The agreement stated that she would pay a consolation fee of $35,000.
What's this? Have I done something that warrants paying a consolation fee?
I told you, I don't plan on wasting time with idle chatter. I've known about your affair with Tom for a long time, and I have all the evidence. I'm going to divorce Tom, but I'm not going to let you get away with it for free. If you can't sign this, then we're in for a full-on battle from now on. The word divorce elicited a reaction from Catherine.
Oh, you're leaving him, huh? Are you sure about this? You won't be the president's wife anymore, you know. Okay, I'll sign this. Tom is crazy about me, so I'm sure he'll pay me alimony instead. From today on, I'll be the president's wife. Oh, Poe's sister. Who will ever deal with a divorced, old hag like you? Your life is over. Plain women like you can never beat young and cute ones like me. Life is so cruel.
With those words, Catherine signed the agreement and left the cafe. Later in the day, Tom and I got divorced. Of course, I claimed a consolation fee of $35,000 from him, just as I did from Catherine. I also demoted Tom from president to an ordinary employee. Probably guessed by now, it was me and Ellie who set up this apparel company. Now, we hold the positions of owner and chairman, respectively. For convenience, we have separated the positions, but basically we too are in a consultative role. To the president. In the early days of the company, we were often looked down upon by business partners for being new and being female entrepreneurs. So we thought we might need to hire a male president, and at the time, Tom, who I was dating, was considering changing jobs. Tom was decently graded in business school and had the basic knowledge, so it worked out. Furthermore, he was trustworthy, and his stern appearance was quite useful in various situations. So between Ellie and me, the idea came up that Tom would be a good candidate for the role of a hired president. When I discussed this with Tom, he readily agreed.
It's definitely better for one's mental health to work among trustworthy people than under strangers.
He even said. With that, Tom and I got married. Ellie and I were considering having children eventually, and we wanted to take long-term leaves like maternity leave, so having a reliable man in a responsible position was reassuring. But who would have thought it would come to this? When I told Tom about his demotion to a regular employee, he said he would quit. If that's the case, can you pay the consolation fee all at once? Otherwise, I'll have to tell your parents about what happened, won't I? Upon hearing this, Tom was at a loss for words. Tom had been pretty much disowned by his parents due to repeating a year in college, and if they found out about this incident, they would undoubtedly disown him. Moreover, Tom hardly had any savings. It seemed true that he was taking employees out for drinks and always treating them. He also bought several brand-name suits and dined at expensive restaurants to maintain a presidential appearance and demeanor. Therefore, if he has to pay the consolation fee all at once, he would have no choice but to consult his parents. If he doesn't want that, he'll have to work as a regular employee at our company. Since our company has only a few dozen employees, news of this incident spread quickly. So Tom ended up working for the minimum wage, receiving disdainful looks from the surrounding employees until he finished paying the consolation fee. Most of his salary is spent on alimony to me, so it's almost like working for free. On the other hand, Catherine called me when she heard about Tom's devastation.
Hey, why is Tom a regular employee now? Wasn't he the president? Even if you can, Demote someone to a regular employee. Demoting yourself is just absurd, isn't it?
This was the first time I had seen Catherine so upset. I felt truly happy from the bottom of my heart. I told you when we were at my cousin's wedding, didn't I? He is the president of my company. Ah, I guess you are younger and cuter than me, but uneducated. Maybe you can't understand English. I'll explain it in a way that's easy for you to understand. Tom was the hired president of the company I founded. Yep, it's no wonder you can't understand. Our standard score were more than 30 points apart in both high school and college. Did you know? It is said that it's hard for two people with a 30-point difference in standard score to have a conversation. Oh, but you aren't human, are you? You are just a sexually frustrated and jealous female monkey. Upon hearing this, Catherine said, "Grr," over the phone. Was she really a monkey? I had sensed for some time that Catherine was jealous of me, and that this was the cause of her harassment. Although Catherine had indeed been spoiled by her parents, it was always me who received praise. The parents might not have meant any harm, but Catherine always seemed to be resigned to being just the youngest. That said, the reason I was praised was because of my hard work. I have no obligation to understand or forgive Catherine's jealousy. Afterward, Catherine apparently lost interest in Tom, who was no longer the president, and broke up with him. However, it seems that she understands that she must pay the compensation now that she has signed the pledge. She has sold all of her household goods and branded bags, things she had made men buy for her, and moved to a rundown apartment. Now she's working in a nightclub every day, even though the pledge I created might be rendered void if she consults a lawyer. She can't even think of that. Several years later, after Tom had finished paying the compensation, Emily and Ellie fired him for using the company car for personal affairs. The look on Tom's face when he was dismissed was a mix of relief from the judgmental stares of those around him and despair at losing his job at his age.